Have you ever considered that the only thing separating you from your greatest self is a single powerful thought? That the chasm between the person you are and the person you are destined to become is not bridged by circumstance, but by perception? This is the story of a man who discovered that the kingdom of his future was locked inside his own mind, and how he found the key. Our story begins on the cold, unforgiving pavement of a bustling city, with a man named Leo. To the world, and more importantly, to himself, Leo was a beggar. His identity was woven from the threads of what he lacked. His days were a monotonous cycle of downcast eyes, an outstretched hand, and a mumbled plea for spare change. He saw himself as a void, a human vessel defined only by its emptiness, waiting to be filled by the generosity of strangers. His thoughts were a constant, dreary echo. I have nothing. I am nothing. And so the world treated him accordingly, as a ghost on the sidewalk, an inconvenience to be quickly forgotten. He believed his greatness, or lack thereof, was determined by the coins that rattled in his cup, a verdict delivered by the hands of others. One crisp autumn afternoon, a man stopped before Leo. He was not like the others who hurried past with averted gazes. This man, impeccably dressed in a fine wool coat, radiated an aura of purpose. His name was Mr. Alistair Finch, a renowned entrepreneur known for building empires from scratch. He looked at Leo not with pity, but with an unnerving, analytical intensity. Leo held out his cup, expecting the usual clink of a coin. Instead, Mr. Finch crouched down, his eyes level with Leo's. "I want to help you," he said, his voice calm but firm, "but you must first answer a question. Why should I give you anything?" Leo was taken aback, stammering about his hunger, his homelessness. But Mr. Finch shook his head. "That is what you need," he corrected gently. "I asked what you have to give. The universe operates on the principle of exchange. To receive value, you must first provide value. If you have nothing to give, you have no right to demand." With that, he stood, gave a polite nod and walked away, leaving Leo not with a coin, but with a confounding, revolutionary idea. The entrepreneur's words haunted Leo for days. "If you have nothing to give ... double quotes, the phrase circled in his mind like a vulture. Anger gave way to frustration, and frustration slowly, painstakingly, gave way to contemplation. What could he, a man with nothing, possibly give? His eyes scanned his desolate world until they fell upon a patch of wild, resilient dandelions and daisies growing through a crack in the pavement in a nearby park. They were free. They were beautiful. An idea, fragile as a petal, began to bloom in his mind. The next day, he picked a small, cheerful daisy. As a woman approached to drop a coin in his cup, he held up the flower. "For you," he said, his voice raspy from disuse. "A little bit of sunshine for your day." The woman stopped, surprised. A genuine smile spread across her face. She took the flower, and instead of a few coins, she placed a crisp dollar bill in his cup. This small act of giving changed everything. Leo began each day by gathering a small bouquet of wildflowers. He no longer just begged. He offered a gift. To a hurried businessman, he'd offer a flower and say, "For your stressful day." To a young mother, "A smile for your little one." The dynamic shifted entirely. People no longer saw a beggar. They saw a man offering a moment of beauty, an unexpected connection. They engaged with him, they thanked him, and they gave more generously than ever before. He was no longer a void demanding to be filled. He was a source, offering something of value. His cup filled faster, but more importantly, so did his heart. A few weeks later, Mr. Finch passed by again. He saw Leo, surrounded by a small collection of vibrant wildflowers, engaging warmly with a passerby. He waited until the person left and then approached. "Well, well," Mr. Finch said, a look of deep respect in his eyes. "I see a fellow entrepreneur at work." Leo was stunned. "Entrepreneur?" "Sir, I am still just a beggar," Mr. Finch smiled. "Are you?" "You understood the most fundamental law of value. You stopped focusing on what you lacked and found something you could offer. You are trading beauty for kindness, a flower for a donation. You are not begging. You are conducting business. That single word, entrepreneur, shattered Leo's old identity. It was a revelation. He looked at his corner, not as a place of shame, but as his storefront. He looked at the people, not as patrons, but as customers. He looked at himself, not as a beggar, but as a merchant. A profound shift occurred within him. He was no longer a victim of his circumstances. He was the architect of his enterprise. He began saving his money with a new purpose, not just for a meal, but as capital. He bought a proper bucket for his flowers, then another. He learned their names and what they symbolized. 6 months later, on that same street corner, there was no sign of a beggar. In his place stood a small, charming flower cart with a hand-painted sign, Leo's Corner Blooms. Leo, now dressed in clean, simple clothes, stood tall, a proud business owner, helping a customer choose the perfect bouquet. He had become a beloved fixture in the neighborhood, his story a quiet inspiration. He had learned the most profound lesson of all. We only truly begin to receive when we first dare to give. The greatness that Leo unlocked was not found in the pockets of strangers. It was forged in the fire of his own thoughts. He changed his mindset, and in doing so, he changed his world. His story serves as a timeless reminder that life does not shape us. We shape our lives through the lens of our own self-perception. You are not defined by your circumstances. You are defined by the value you choose to create and the identity you dare to claim. Your greatness is not waiting to be found in the hands of others. It is waiting to be built by the thoughts within you.